All right, this is part 2. If you would like to go back, you can see the first part. We are talking about many different things, but demons, the emotion and will, exorcism and possession, and so on. But, so every day, what it really is, in essence, is, everybody, every day is dealing with emotions, and it's a battle of emotions and what to do, how to move on, how to move forward. And, a lot of us sit in stagnancy, and that takes up residence in our body, and then that creates a lot of, dis-ease and discomfort. So, in further going through this, hopefully I remember everything, but you have the Godhead, the aether, the mind, and then where the heart chakra is, you have the body system center, okay? And oftentimes we have a split in between the body system and the spiritual element of the earth, which would be your lower chakras. The other are, your higher chakras, but then, your heart chakra center and your solar plexus, it's like a meeting point, and there's like a center that goes this way. I've talked about it before, and that's what keeps both halves in balance if you know how to use it. And it works in multiple different levels. We have external influence, we have internal influence. So not only are we working with things outside and bringing them in, they're going inside and being brought back out, So we have that. Natural, the spiritual element of the earth is the more natural way of being or connecting to what we're supposed to be, really meant to entail. But the possession starts in the mind and takes hold in the body system first, and then moves into systems. And also it's important to note that, like possession or exorcism, anything to that degree, and again, we'll talk more about, the good and bad in possession. But there is... forgot my thoughts again. So, in essence, also, it's hard when they affect the chakra system. And again, you don't have to put a gender to it or a name to it. Sometimes it's just raw emotion or something that is in the environment, that is in the energy around you, that has, filtered back around. That's why it's important to know energy, to really know how to read it, to learn how to discern your voice from what is not your voice. Because sometimes... when we learn how to tap into our intuition, it is actually our voice, and we have to learn how to discern that, and to also know that you also do hear, you can hear other voices or, other like pictorial like things, all sorts of things, but in essence, it is... knowing what is true, because what happens is you get shown an illusion, okay, a falsehood or a false worry or fear, and sometimes it's not like a bad thing, like it can come from a bad influence, but sometimes it's just an emotion that is just trying to bring awareness to something, and maybe it was interconnected in some way, and you just have to eject that thought or redirect that thought, and then it usually goes away. But most people don't know how to counteract the thoughts that they are having. I had to slow down there for a minute. So I want to go over here. We'll come back to the stuff here. Exorcism, in its essence, is an attempt to release by spiritual means to the symptoms of, or to stop the physical symptoms of the body. And the church has made it just the physical. In essence, they are looking at the mind and whatever spiritual in their essence. But they're not looking at the whole bigger picture, the real root issues. So you just mask symptoms and have found no root cause, or they may fix the issue, but there are no details and to truly show you how to continue, or what to do in case it happens again. Besides the same mumbo jumbo, but that's why it's important to have a multiple array of cultural wisdom, not just a select few, or what you claim to be just all it entails, when it entails so much more, because we are so much more than we know. So not just also note if they have the true power, and this is a thought I had, when it comes to people of power or influence, okay? And I wrote this sideways, so it's sort of hard to see, but if they have the true power to cast out demons, why do they rely on us to believe they should have that faith themselves to be able to do this, to drive the demon? And I'll get more into the church later. We're going to save that for last. Yeah, we'll just leave that at that for now. But to have true in the loss of faith. Faith in themselves with truth and knowing, conviction. That's what's needed. They should have this, and they should be able to continue to do this. If not, they have disconnected themselves as well. Plain as day. So you can and if they can cast out, they're also able to cast in. If you can cast out, you can cast in, and you can cast in good spirits. Again, there's a positive and a negative. There's all these going around all the time, and there's not technically a label of positive or negative. It's just energies rolling around, and it's what you tune into, what you perceive. And even if something gets into your energy field, when you're in the right state, you are able to redirect that and move that around and out if needed, or use that to your benefit. Have they uplifted your spirit? Has a certain emotion uplifted your spirit? Think about it. Has a certain place uplifted your spirit? Have they elevated you to equal, or do they continue to point out and tell us our flaws, or tell all others' flaws and not their own? Do they continue to to point the finger and hide behind lying eyes? Sounds like the church lost power. This can relate in many different ways. And from conventionalism are gaining control of what matters. So the church lost power, and they lost power from conventionalism is what I meant there. And we are moving away from conventionalism and gaining control of what matters, and that is, especially within self. So now, we're going to go all the way over here. This is more thoughts on what I think happens during the process. And again, they happen to varying degrees. The possession happens by an emotional contract and or binding. It is allowed in great times of sadness and grief, especially torn apart between the heart and mind. When you're unconnected, it makes it easier. You're more susceptible to falling victim to the negative aspects of